Be honest with yourself. Yes, you are the a-hole. Who would do this to someone that they claim to love? What's up, little enzymes? Welcome back to Dacia's Digest. The topic of today's video is you doing too much. So before we begin, I have the links to pretty much everything you see or hear in this video: my makeup, my headband, my filming equipment, the Reddit stories. Everything is always included in the description. Editing Dacia here, just popping in to say thank you guys so much for the recent coffees that you've given me. Hold on, let's hopefully it works. Yay! Thank you so much. So I got a coffee from Nadia. She said, "I'm a new follower. Thank you for your hard work. I send you all the good vibes. XX." I receive all the good vibes. Thank you so much. And the other person, Skyra, which I've never heard that name. That's a really cool name, says, "Your uploads are now a regular part of my day. Thanks for all you do for us fans." I'm laughing because she said fans. I wouldn't consider y'all fans for real. I would consider you more like friends, family, but I understand the sentiment, and thank you so much. It means so much when people say that my uploads are like a regular part of their day, or they listen to it when they're like cleaning or like doing things. I just appreciate that I can offer that for you. So thank you. And back to the video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. So the first story was actually cross-posted on the Dacia's Digest subreddit. Here we go. Am I the a-hole for hiding my girlfriend's jewelry? I, 32 male, have been with my girlfriend, we'll call her Dawn, 30 female, for just under a year. Some helpful context: she was married at 24, her husband died 2 years ago. Since his passing, she moved to my city, and we are now planning for me to move in with her when my lease is up in the fall. I stay there a minimum of 4 days a week currently. So let me just get that timeline. She's 24, her husband died 2 years ago. She was married at 24, her husband died 2 years ago, so when she was 28. So they were married for 4 years, and then a year after he died, she basically met and started dating OP. So they've been dating less than a year. Don's late husband passed in a work-related accident. 2 others also passed, dang, and a few more were injured. Oh my goodness. From what I understand, it took her some time to heal, understandably. She met a few other people for dates before me, but I am the only one she connected with over time. Part of her healing has been a form of downsizing. She still has photos with him online and a lot of physical photo albums, but the only major things on display are a stuffed animal he got her, which sits on her headboard, and a little display on her fireplace mantle. One of those digital photo frames of photos, a 3-fold frame with a photo from his proposal, hidden photographer, a photo from their engagement shoot, and a wedding photo. His ashes, their wedding rings, and his engagement ring. She still has her engagement ring and wears it on a chain. Dawn has always loved the Harvest Moon series and had always wanted her engagement ring to incorporate a blue feather, which is what you use to propose in the game. Her late husband customized a beautiful ring with a sapphire feather on it, and his engagement ring also has one. I was mostly fine with her wearing it until I started attending work-related events with her. Her job is somewhat political and has a lot of networking events. Her friends know why the ring is important, and mine learned over time, but almost every networking event, someone asks about it, and she always tells them it was the engagement ring from her late husband. It made me uneasy to hear it so often, but I was fine until I wasn't. I didn't mind people knowing she was married before, but I guess every time people asked her about it, it made me feel like I was her second choice. I mean, technically you are. I hate to break it to you, but like if the husband hadn't tragically passed away, y'all probably wouldn't be together. So so what? She still chose you. The husband is not here, so anyway. I asked her to stop wearing it as seeing it and hearing about it was starting to get to me and was a constant reminder that in her ideal life, he would still be here and she wouldn't even know me. We compromised. She would still wear it out except for events where people didn't know the story and were likely to ask. I don't know if I agree with that because, I feel like it's relatively fresh, the husband passed. It's been 2 years. For some, that may be a good amount of time. For some, that may be fresh. I feel like it's still in the early stages. So it's almost, I don't agree with her. Like, they've been dating less than a year and he not even the husband. He barely the boyfriend. And you already making demands on how she should go through her grieving process. I don't know. Something is rubbing me the wrong way about that one. Anyway, so he says, fast forward to last week. We had an event with a blue color scheme and she had a beautiful blue dress. Normally, she wears a bracelet, earrings, and necklace, but this time she just had a bracelet and earrings, so I asked why before we left. She didn't have any other necklaces that went with the earrings, so I told her to wear the engagement one if she wanted. Sure enough, someone not only asked about the ring, but continued the conversation, whereas normally the subject changes once they find out her husband passed away. The person asked what kind of ring Dawn would want if she remarried, and she said she wasn't sure. Whatever I thought suited her as long as the band was silver. I felt my stomach drop. It hurt to know her old ring had such a special meaning and was something she always wanted, but now it didn't matter to her at all. The next morning, I confronted her and she told me in the newer games, there's a special flower to propose and I could incorporate that. But I felt like she was appeasing me. Dude, what do you want her to do? She married this man with the intention that they were going to be together forever. He tragically passes away, and you're mad that she didn't have a second idea in her head for a wedding ring. Like, she had one already. I understand where he's coming from. I understand his feelings, but me personally, I feel like he's forcing her grief along when he's doing too much. I know y'all gonna tell me in the comments if y'all disagree, but I feel like he's doing too much. At first she knew what exactly the ring she wanted, and now that I'm with her, she has no idea. Like, y'all ain't even been together a year and you already upset. I'm not sure what came over me, but when Dawn was in the shower that afternoon, I took the ring from the sink. She's normally very careful with it, keeping it in the box on the mantle when she isn't wearing it and on the edge of the sink when she showers. She always keeps the plug in the sink in case her cat knocks it into the sink. The door had been open about halfway and the shower was foggy. I'm certain she didn't see me reach in or unplug the sink. Wait a minute. I know you didn't. Okay. Hold on. Let me keep reading. Because if this man put the ring down the sink, that's on par with the other video that we just recently did where a man's wife passed away suddenly and the new wife threw away all the photos and all the memorabilia from the old wife. It's the same thing in my opinion. Hold on. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. After she dried off, she went to grab the chain and immediately freaked out. I feigned helping her look for it and told her it would probably turn up. The next day before work, she looked exhausted and told me she got up early to look for it, but she was a mess and I'm not sure she slept. We both went to work. When I got home, the place was spotless and she was crying. She came home from work sick. She does have an anxiety disorder and in retrospect, probably felt physically ill at work. Flipped the place upside down, cleaning, vacuuming, and then going through the container and even snaking the drain. My intention was to give her the chain back that night and pretend I found it somewhere in hopes it would get her to leave the ring on the mantle, but there was no way I could pretend it was anywhere not the way she searched, so I took it out of my wallet and fessed up. She was inconsolable and told me to go home. I tried texting and calling all week and she told me she needed space. Okay. Phew. Oh, Lord. I thought he opened the drain and pushed the ring down the drain. Oh, I got nervous for a second. But why would you do that? Why would you do that? He's doing too much. I feel like he needs to go to some therapy because it seems, and it's understandable. I'm not saying it's not understandable. I'm not saying I don't see where he's coming from, but he is projecting what he's feeling onto her. If you feel a certain way, you need to resolve those feelings within yourself. You can't be putting your insecurities and your feeling of inadequacy onto her and forcing her to grieve in a way that's unnatural for her. That doesn't help anyone. So what you need to do is go to therapy, figure out why you're jealous of a dead man, and then move forward. So then he continues, last weekend I went to a barbecue at my friend's originally, and she was supposed to attend with me. She did text me that morning and told me to tell people I was sick, but they noticed my demeanor eventually, and I told them the story. Results were mixed. I'd say about half our friends took her side fairly quickly. One guy did say I set a boundary and she should have known that I didn't really mean it when I said she could wear it, and a second friend agreed but said that it wasn't her fault someone asked about it. A third friend also agreed with the other two, but his girlfriend pointed out that I expressed that it was okay and that if I didn't mean it, I shouldn't have said it. The rest of the group is kind of on the fence, saying me hiding it was going too far and that I could have lost it. The general consensus is that I should have reestablished the boundary after the event, but that hiding it was going too far. I see what they mean, but still think I made a good point. At any point, the chain could break, be stolen on vacation, accidentally come unclasped, etc., and that if the ring was so important, it should stay home with the others. I also want to note that I don't mind the small mantle tribute, and we discussed in the past that it can stay up when I move in. It's not the memories I don't like, it's this specific ring when she wears it. The ring didn't get lost, eaten by the cat, or damaged, and I think my point was made. So, am I the a-hole here? Regardless of if you think I'm the a-hole or not, can you please recommend any ways I can fix this? I love Dawn and very much want to propose after I officially move in. She answered a text today but was very short and distant. I don't want to lose her. Child, he's trying to make it seem as if he's doing her a favor. Talking about I made a good point. The chain could break. She could lose it on vacation. It could come unclasped. There's so many things that could happen. Be honest. The real reason you don't like her wearing the ring is because you don't like people asking about it and being reminded that you were not her first choice. Be honest with yourself. You're not worried about her preserving that dang ring. Yes, you are the a-hole. Who would do this to someone that they claim to love? You know how much that ring means to her. You see how carefully she keeps up with it. When she goes to the bathroom, she specifically has it on the counter, closes the drain because she knows there's a cat around. Like, she takes such care in making sure that she doesn't lose it. And you had the bright idea to take it. And now, what if she hadn't have been so anxious over trying to find it and tearing up the house trying to find it? Then what would you have done? Would you have just never told her that you took the ring? This dude is, she don't need to marry him. For one, I think she's not ready, but I also think he's not ready. No, I would steer clear of this man. So the first comment says, you're the a-hole, you gaslighted her. This is not about the ring anymore. This is about you emotionally harming and gaslighting a person to have your way. I would never give you advice on how to win her back because you clearly can be very harmful. The problem is not you being unhappy about the ring. She respected your boundary and only wore it because you said it was fine. The problem is that even when she does something that you said you are okay with, you punished her for something she didn't have any control over and only wore the jewelry because you agreed. You are the reason that women are so cautious about dating. Guys like you make my skin crawl. I hope to the bottom of my heart that this woman has good friends and support that are telling her to dump you and appreciate the nuclear bomb she just dodged. Right. And then the part where he said he suggested that she wear it, but then got mad that she wore it. Like, come on, bro, make up your mind. Another person said, you're the a-hole. What you did was evil. Not going to mince my words, you gave her traumatic experience, heartbreak, and stress because you are jealous of a dead man. There is no fixing this. Literally. Another person says, you're the a-hole. The best way to fix this is to leave her alone until she processes this. For the record, you cannot set a boundary on whether or not she can wear that ring on a chain or when she can wear it. That's not a boundary. That's trying to control her. The only boundary you can set about the ring would be something like you won't attend an event with her when she's wearing it. You are wasting so much time being jealous of her deceased husband. You're trying to make her act like he never existed and that you are her one true love, and that's not at all fair to her. Personally, if I were in her shoes, I would have broken up with you as soon as I found out you hid the ring and then watched her suffer for 2 days thinking it was gone, all because you care about your feelings more than you care about hers. And you lied to her, inflicted pain on her, you betrayed her, and the relationship may not survive. You're not a trustworthy partner. This. Everything they said, 100% agree. So, does he have an update, child? Oh my goodness. Let me see. No update, but he does have some comment replies. Oh, there's quite a few. Let me just scroll through some of them. He replied to someone and said, normally it's not a constant conversation. Someone calls the ring pretty and asks about it. She says it was from her late husband. Then the conversation changes. The one incident that upset me was the first time it went further. And she had no control over that. It's not as if she asked that person to be like, ask me more about my dead husband. Like, what was she supposed to do? And you told her she could wear it. Like, what the heck? He responded to someone else and said, this comment did shift my perspective a bit. One of the most comforting moments of our relationship so far was after I'd had a long and bad day at work. Dawn gets off before me, so she made my favorite dinner and got me what she called a weird bouquet, just a jumble of different flowers because she'd asked my favorite when we started dating and I didn't have one, so I could pick my favorite. I got a back massage and we just spent time together. Later that night, we were cuddling and I told her how glad I was that I met her, and she hugged me and said she was glad she met me too. I was incredibly happy that she felt after everything that I was the right choice. I'll express this to her and hope she's willing to work through this. Don't bother that girl no more. He replied to someone else and said she's in individual therapy. I'll ask her if she's willing to explore couples therapy and I'll get my own as well. He replied to someone else and said I needed this reality check. I should have realized when we talked about the mantle that she was worried someone would make her box him up entirely. It doesn't even take up that much space and I was confused at the time. I know from her best friend that the process of getting back out there was really hard. She slept on the couch for a while because she didn't want to make the bed or disrupt anything in her room after he passed. And then just based on the other comments, he's just saying like, I hope it's not too late. I've learned a lot from this, etc., etc. I hope it is too late. I hope she leave your ass. Anyway, let's go to the next story. So the written title of this is, my husband, 25 male, has asked to start going on regular dates with me, 26 female, again, and I'm a little sad. Now, spoiler alert title that I chose to create is, my husband only wants to go on dates with me to get social media content. Okay, so the first post was August 10th, 2024. My husband, John, fake name, and I have been married for over 2 years and dated for about 3 years before that. Overall, we have a generally healthy relationship with good communication. When we first got married, we used to go on lots of dates, not necessarily anything big, sometimes just coffee or a drive. but we went out of our way to get out of the house together for quality time. As time has passed, I have taken on more freelance work, keeping me busier, and he's started saying that he's just too tired or doesn't feel like getting ready to go out after work or on his days off. Up until now, I haven't had an issue with that. He does work a lot, and I don't blame him at all. But here's where things have changed. A couple of months ago, he got really interested in digital marketing, basically selling products online. He bought an expensive course to help him learn and has started trying to consistently post 3 times a day in order to build a following on a new Instagram account. So he's really putting a lot of work into this. I'm not holding my breath that it will work out for several reasons that I won't get into here unless you want them, but I've never discouraged him from doing it. When he gets stressed, I encourage him. I tell him often that I'm proud of all his hard work, I am, etc. I only mention that to say that I'm not against him trying this out and haven't put him down for it ever, but this is why I've gotten a little sad. Last week, we went on a cute date after he got off work on Saturday, and I loved it. We laughed and talked and generally had a great time like those first dates after getting married. While we were on the date, I had an idea for a cute reel that took maybe 5 minutes to record, and then I put my phone away for the rest of the time. When we got home, I created and posted the reel, adding him as a collaborator with this new digital marketing Instagram account. At his request, I guess, he's gotten advice to post real-life things, not just videos trying to sell. No biggie, I didn't mind. Well, since I already have a following, small but bigger than his, that reel did better than any of the other ones on his account. Great, we both thought. But now he's asked to go on a small date every Saturday. At first, I was so happy. I'd love to get back to our regular dates, but then he said it would be so that we could get content for his page. He asked if I would be a collaborator on all or most of the posts, but if he could post them himself so he gets the credit for the engagement. I guess all the views, likes, etc. don't actually bump his page analytics since I was the one who created the post. Ciao! That's a mess. I still have to continue reading. That's a mess. I don't like when people do that. And I feel like influencers get a bad rap because of doing things like that. Like there was one video that was, and sorry, I'm going off on a slight tangent, but there was one video that was controversial where this influencer mom forgot to edit out a portion of her video, and I believe the video was about their pet dying, and it was the mom and the son in the car, and she was talking to the camera like, oh yeah, Fido died, or whatever the dog's name was, and the son was sitting there like visibly sad, but then she's like, okay, we got to take a thumbnail, now look at the camera, now act sad, now cry, now look at the camera, and like posing, trying to get a good thumbnail photo. Her son is actually sad. He's actually over here crying, but it doesn't look good enough for the thumbnail that she's. So while he's sitting over here grieving and crying, she's trying to coerce him to change up his facial expressions for the camera. Editing Daisha here again. I just had to find the clip to show y'all what I was talking about because I feel like it's so unbelievable that you have to see it. So this was a while ago. This video of someone reposting it was posted September 2021, and I think the original video was maybe even longer ago than that. Just watch this.
I'm gonna let you guys go. I need to go be there for Christian. I just wanted to give you an update because so many of you turned on the countdown reminders for my new video today and you wanted to see our big news. Please pray for her. I know she's gonna make it through. She's an amazing, beautiful little girl, and I can't wait for her to bring her home and be part of our family. So if you could pray for us, we appreciate it. I love you guys. Bye. Come here. Come closer for the video. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. Put your head right here. Come closer. Closer. Down. Put your head down here. Act like you're crying. Really quick.
I am crying. Oh my gosh.
Go like this.
No, Mom, I'm actually seriously crying.
No, I know, but go like this. For the video. Go like this. Put one hand up. Go like this. No, go like this. Put your hand like this. But let them see your mouth.
I can't, like, she's totally disregarding this little boy, her own child, in this moment because she's trying to get a good thumbnail photo. Like, he needs a hug. He needs your love. And you're talking about, well, no, put your hand on your face, do this. No, don't get the thumbnail.
Let them see your mouth.
Oh, Mom, I'm actually crying.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm actually crying.
I know. Look at me.
And he keeps saying, like, Mom, I'm actually crying. I'm actually crying. And she's, like, literally not acknowledging what he's saying at all. Okay. Now look at me. Now put your hand. Like, lady, you can't be serious. Anyway, back to the video. I just use that as an example of how toxic influencer life can get. Not saying that everyone is a toxic influencer, because I am technically considered an influencer. This is my second channel. I have a first channel where I do content, but that's why I purposely take steps to not get into toxic territory. Like, if I'm going out with my friend, the expectation is not that I'm gonna use them for content, or sometimes I don't even film when I'm out with my friends because of that. I don't want it to get to the point where I'm like, oh, let me hit up this person so we can go ahead and film this, and I just gotta get the content. Like, that's sickening. That's sickening. Because this lady, they've been struggling to go on dates. He talking about he too tired. But all of a sudden, he got some numbers on social media, and now he can go on dates with his wife because he got engagement. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. So you care more about your engagement than you do about your wife. Obviously, that's what it shows. And an argument could be made for, well, oh, he's trying to, make money, and the engagement will help him make money. I see that, but he needs to find a way to build his engagement on his own. And it would be different if he told the wife, hey, because I want to get this engagement, would you mind helping me out with doing this in XYZ ways? But no, he was like, yeah, I really like that date. Like, let's go on some more. Oh, and make that reel like you made the last time. Oh, but let me post it on my page because I don't get the number. Like, the way he went about, I don't like it. I don't like it. Let me continue because I went off on this whole thing. She said, I'm feeling hurt because for over a year, he hasn't shown much interest in taking me out. Now, all of a sudden, because he needs content and saw how I could help his view count go up, he wants to go on dates. I guess I'm just feeling used, like I'm not any kind of a priority. I feel like the dates won't even count as actual dates because he's not asking to go out to spend time with me. I do want to reiterate that I'm not opposed to him doing this side job, and I'm not even opposed to helping him or collaborating on posts, though I'd prefer not to do it every week. I'm actually really happy, whether or not it works out as a moneymaker, that he's just putting a lot of effort into something that excites him. I haven't seen him this into anything maybe ever. I'm asking for advice because I don't know if I should bring this up to him or not, and if I do, what should I say? The last thing I want to do is make him feel bad or discourage him in his new endeavor. Should I just be grateful to be going on dates again? Am I being selfish? Thanks for any and all advice, and sorry if this is very long. If this could be posted to sub, I'm open to suggestions. I couldn't post to relationship advice because it has a yes or no question, LOL. And then she had an edit, because so many people are getting hung up on the double standard of me making content on the date, but not wanting him to. I just want to clarify that I'm not a content creator by any means. I asked if he'd want to do this reel, and he said yes, and it's not a regular thing as I don't post much. To me, the difference here is that the whole point of these dates moving forward will be to get content, and for him, it will be work, where for me, it was just a fun thing for us both. Maybe this doesn't make a difference, but that's just how I see it in my head. I think it makes a huge difference. Again, before he was too tired. Before, he didn't want to plan a date. Oh, before he's too busy. But now all of a sudden he sees the numbers running up, and now all of a sudden every Saturday y'all can go on a date. I think that makes a huge difference because the motive is totally different. If he wanted to, he would. And he want to make content. He don't care about spending time with you. So a couple of comments. How about you tell him how you feel and that a date is a date and reels are for work? If he wants to go on dates just to get views, those can be only 1 in 5 dates if you're comfortable with even that. Communicate. Another person says, communication is key. You could talk to him and, with the idea above, even frame that date as a work date. If you're on board and comfortable, maybe keep the Saturdays as your special dates, and then whatever day lines up other than that, try to make reels together. If you generally don't like the idea, then tell him that as well. And lastly, someone says, so he is in an MLM and he admitted that his wanting to go out with you is to support his cultish business rather than because he values the time. That hurts. I get it. I'm sorry. I do want to say that these companies / opportunities / MLMs are very scripted, high pressure, and designed to make people think if they fail, they are at fault, despite the actual setup being a massive reason for the failure. They literally borrow cult tactics in order to prey on people. I think you should talk about your feelings, but I also think you should tread lightly because the whole system is designed for him to be defensive if you bring up reason. It's part of the gig. Hugs, I'm sorry. Yeah, I do agree that he's probably in some sort of an MLM, because how you selling a digital marketing course and you can't even get your own digital marketing together without the help of your wife who is driving your engagement. Update 10 days later. So first of all, thank you to the vast majority of you who were logical and kind, and screw the people who immediately jumped to bashing women. In 2024, really? Anyways, here's what I ended up doing. Many of the comments said the best thing to do was probably just take the win and find the good in my situation, but if it's really bothering me, to bring it up to John. I honestly didn't want to, but I didn't want to be upset on every day either, so I decided to give it a trial run and see how I felt after. I waited 2 weeks to make a decision and chose to go ahead and mention it to him. For those of you who think I'm some dramatic witch whose husband could never do enough to make her happy, I told him I was sure how I felt wasn't how he intended to come across, but then explained what I had been thinking. Sure enough, as many of you said, he was just killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I told him I was totally fine creating content on our dates, but I just didn't want to feel like that was why we were on a date. He said that he understood and would be careful about it, and that if I was bothered or wanted to have a no content date, to just let him know. Okay, I guess that seems like a good compromise. So that's the good part. The next part was a little tougher. Per the advice of a couple of you with either digital marketing or MLM experience, I had the tough pyramid scheme talk. I told him before, during, and after this conversation that no matter what he chooses to do, I will support him and help him, but I also explained to him a few things. How the marketing was misleading, how most people lose money instead of making it, how they will try to keep trying to get him to spend more money to make it work, etc. I also suggested that he track his hours of learning, content creating, and posting so that even if he does start making sales, he can decide if the time is worth the payout. I probably mentioned other things as well, but I don't remember what if so. I have always been very anti-MLM, and I like to think I know a lot about it, so I just tried to give him all the basic info in a kind way. After all that, I told him if he wanted to keep trying, I was for it as long as he doesn't invest any more money before he makes some. I also told him how I was so proud of all the work he put into his side hustle so far, and how I loved that he was excited about it, how he's been getting up early to work out because of it. He will record parts of his runs, stretches, etc., but actually does a full workout or run. And I love how it's energized him. Understandably, he was a little sad and quiet, but he understood everything and wasn't mad at all. This was all last night, and he was totally back to normal before bed, and he's continued posting today, so I guess I didn't hurt his feelings or discourage him like I thought I might. That's the whole reason I waited so long, but I guess it would have been fine all along. I'm looking forward to our weekly dates and to the fact that we will be able to look back and remember them all since we will have videos from each one. That's true. Again, grateful for all your kind words, and I'm happy to answer comments or questions. Just be nice for goodness sake. Okay, well, I guess this comment says, sounds like that went about as well as it could realistically go. I agree. That's about the best outcome you could expect from a situation like this. So let's go on and move to the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend that I will wear a headscarf? Ha! Wait a minute. Okay. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend that I will wear a headscarf when he grows his foreskin back? Throwaway account for privacy reasons. My female 24 boyfriend, male 28, is a Muslim. He usually is not very traditional. We don't live in a Muslim country. The other day, he told me that as soon as we get engaged, I will need to wear a headscarf to cover my hair. I am very proud of my long wavy hair, and a headscarf is absolutely out of the question, and he knows that. When we first met, he even told me that he doesn't like that tradition and that his girlfriend will never have to wear one. Now, yesterday, we had a real fight about it. His parents want us to get engaged, and engagement means the future bride has to cover her hair. The argument got heated, and I ended it with, I'll wear the damn thing as soon as you grow your foreskin back. He left without saying a word and went to his parents' place. Silence since then. Oh my goodness. That's hilarious to me. So the first comment says, my sister had a serious relationship with a Muslim man in the US with Egyptian parents. They were together for years. Even though he was more progressive, he began increasingly channeling his parents' demands. No more pork, dress more modestly, do as he said since he was the man. She actually wanted to get married to him. When she met his parents, his father extended for a handshake. She reached out and he pulled back. If you knew anything about our culture, you wouldn't have done that. You'll never be one of us. He then sat them down and called an end to their relationship. Her boyfriend just sat there and let it happen. Unless your boyfriend has genuine independence and isn't afraid to reject Islamic norms to be with you, these demands are going to continue for the rest of your life. Not the a-hole, and think very hard before you commit to a life of being controlled. Ooh, yikes. Someone said, not the a-hole, and girl, just leave. If he waited for engagement to ask you to cover your hair, imagine what he's gonna pull if you actually marry him. Save yourself a lot of pain for a portion of it now and leave. He's not the man you fell in love with. It was just a cover. He never existed. Just go, and I'm sorry for your time wasted. Yeah, so I don't think she's the a-hole at all. I mean, she could have said something different, but I mean, I get the gist of what she was trying to say. Like, no, I will never. And also, from my understanding, you should never force a woman to wear the hijab. It should be like her own choice. She has to come to that decision on her own. You can't make someone do it. So he wrong himself. So she has an edit. Edit 1, I will not wear a headscarf. If that means that the engagement isn't going to happen, then it will not happen. 2, I got downvoted for stating that I love him. Please keep in mind that the fight is less than 24 hours ago and I miss him. We had a very good relationship for 1.5 years and never fought before. We were planning on moving in together after getting engaged. 3, I will not convert to his religion. He knows that, and his mother seemed fine with it. His father never said anything about it. I am Christian and will stay Christian. 4, people assume that his family is behind the headscarf idea. I am not sure about it, but it might be possible. If they are, they were good at hiding it since they never said anything. 5. His family immigrated 3 generations ago into the mostly Christian country we live at. He himself never visited the country, Libya, his great-grandparents on his father's side came from. The family on his mother's side, I don't know. All right, so there is another update. All right, this is all complicated. I called my boyfriend this morning. He didn't answer, his mother did. I told her that I would like him to come get his stuff from my place since this relationship will not work out any longer. She told me that he came home yesterday all quiet and sad. After his father asked him about what happened, he told them what I said. Apparently, this caused his father to giggle before he told his son that my reaction has been obvious all along and that he isn't surprised at all. Turns out the parents aren't the religious influence, it's the uncle on the father's side. Apparently, he told my boyfriend that the guests at the engagement party, it's a big deal with this culture with about 100 people. They come from everywhere and probably bring their whole household, the dog and the neighbors, will probably have a heart attack when they see a pale blonde fiance without a headscarf. My boyfriend must have had a very deep conversation with his uncle about tradition and being the oldest son and all that stuff, basically brainwashing. Long story short, he is my ex-boyfriend now. His mother will come by tonight to get his stuff. Child, okay, good riddance, because as a 28-year-old and in his big age, if one little conversation with his uncle can make him completely change already agreed upon things within your relationship, he seems very easily swayed, and that's not someone I would want to be in a relationship with. So she doesn't have any additional update, but I'm glad he's the ex, girl. Thank you. Next. What Ariana say? Thank you. Next. All right, so that is the last main read of the video, but we will be going into our palette cleanser. So just a reminder to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me read this last story. This is from the r/petty revenge subreddit. I delivered revenge like a Disney princess. Came here because of the clique. So here in my block, we have this neighbor who is just the combination of every bad neighbor habit. To make things more visual, we're mainly talking about half a block here. The majority of the houses are 2 stories except the one in the middle that is a car detailing and accessory store. So this store's roof makes every house on this half block visible to each other. Okay, I think I'm getting what she's saying. There's a block of houses that are all 2 stories. In the middle of it, there's a car detailing place that's not 2 stories. So it makes it where the one half block of houses can see the other half block of houses. So they say, so the major complaint is the noise. The guy blasts trash music all day long, which would not be a problem if this guy respected the volume and time allowed. Everyone in the block has called the police because of the noise after 12 a.m. at least once. When my family called the police at 3 a.m., the police told us that the sound had already exceeded the permitted decibels since before the street began. But I guess money is not a problem for this guy because he keeps doing it. I don't get that part. Since everybody was calling the police on him because of the noise, he decided to call the police because of the noise of a newborn baby crying. When the policeman arrived, they told the guy to F off, so that was a mini win. Besides, this guy's also a creep that keeps staring through every window. The majority of the neighbors had installed tinted windows or curtains because of this particular guy. I literally couldn't enjoy sunlight because this dude kept staring at my window whenever my underage sister was in the room. What the hell? Obviously there's more, but these were the major complaints. Cue the revenge. Since this dude is used to being awake during the night blasting terrible music, he sleeps basically all morning and absolutely hates birds chirping because it wakes him up. You can literally hear him complaining and closing the windows when the birds start singing. So I decided to plan based on that. I asked every neighbor if they were okay with the birds chirping. The majority said they love it. Then I asked the detailing store if I could scatter some seeds on their roof to attract birds. The owner said absolutely yes, because the guy threw trash at the store's roof, so every single week the owner had to clean the gutters. So I started scattering the seeds every day at 5 a.m. on the store's roof, and in less than 1 week, I had a full army of birds. I also started putting things like leaves, twigs, dog hair, and other things so the birds could build nests nearby. In my window, there's also water for the birdies. Now, the most delicious part of my revenge was when I decided the birds needed a little treat. I have a friend that breeds insects for people to feed their exotic pets, so I asked him for 100 crickets to feed the birds. Oh, he gave me an amazing discount, and the next day I was also scattering crickets on the roof. The birds started eating the crickets, but obviously they couldn't eat them all, so the rest of the dozens of crickets that escaped ran to the nearest shelter, the idiot's open balcony. You may think, couldn't he just harm the birds or something? Well, he tried, but the odds are in our favor because the birds that come chirping on his window are protected by ambiental law. So if he tries to harm them, he'll pay a much more expensive fine than the sound pollution one. Now my block is the only place in the ghetto where you can wake up every day like a Disney princess with more than 30 birds chirping and the sounds of a very distressed, evil neighbor. That's great. Thank you, OP, for sharing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.